Hey guys, Bonehead here again, bringing you the first of a few Guild Wars 2 builds that I'm doing. This one here is a warrior build. I'll have a look through a bunch of the other ones and everything too, but at the moment my main character is a warrior that I'm having a lot of fun with. The build that I'm doing is not like max DPS or tanking spec or anything. It's just the most fun one I've had working with other people, and so it's a lot of survivability, ranged attacks, focusing on condition damage, and a few things where like healing shouts and things. So I'll get started. I'll go human. Doesn't matter which race you pick. The build doesn't need any of the racial abilities or anything like that. And warrior. Okay, so human warrior. Okay, first thing to do, pick your weapons. For this build, I'm using rifle as the main ability, using a lot of the rifle's abilities. First ability being a bleeding shot, stacks bleeding on the enemy. Then an aim shot. This one here actually cripples enemies so they can't run at you. And I do a bit of kiting where I'm using bleed shots. Aim shot to slow them down. Volley shoots multiple shots at them, 5 shots in a row really fast. A vulnerability shot to make them vulnerable for 10 seconds. And then if they get too close, you can rifle butt them back away. So you actually knock them back, hit them again with the cripples so they're slow, and then you can use your fast fire or just your bleed damage to bring them down in health really quick. So, and then the special ability for the warrior with a rifle is a kill shot, just a very high damage shot. Takes a while to set off. So what you want to do is knock someone away. Like if you're fighting a boss or something and they get too close, you can knock them away, hit an aim shot at them, run back, and then fire off a kill shot as well. So that's the main thing. For the weapon swap, what I do is I go for a sword, and then sword being the main part of this. You've got your special ability with the sword is a bleed as well. So immobilize your foes and a flurry of bleeding strikes. So they're actually very good. You just start lock them in place and then just whack at them really fast with your sword. Does a lot of damage and they can't get away from it, so it's a very good bleeding attack again on the normal attack. Then a charge forward, another slow movement, and then for your second weapon, that's really a matter of choice. Like the sword is very good for more bleed attacks and everything, especially Impale being a throw that throws the weapon at them, and then you can run up and actually rip the sword back out, which does another big hit of damage. Riposte, good if you're getting surrounded. You can block attacks. The shield as well is another good one for this, where you can either go a shield bash to stun and then a block. So yeah, it all comes down to, as long as you've got that bleed on your main sword attack as your first weapon, you can go any one of these secondary weapons. My favourite at the moment is actually the axe as a secondary weapon. You get a double hit with both weapons, giving you Fury, which increases your crit chance, and then Whirling Axe is a fantastic ability. It's basically like a whirlwind attack from Diablo kind of thing. So yeah, you just put your weapons out and spin in circles. You can move around, dealing damage to everything around you, which is always good fun, especially later on when I get into the rest of the build, where all critical hits have a chance of causing bleed attacks. So all these abilities have the potential to actually put bleeds on the enemies. So sword and axe I find is a good one, with the rifle as your main for running around and when you're fighting in group, and then if you get swarmed by a lot of smaller enemies and things, then switch to the sword and axe and start hitting everything around you. For aquatic, harpoon gun, obviously. but I'm not really focusing on that. I mean, it has a bleed attack here on the third ability, which is a very good damager for you, especially if you can get in close, and it splits 5 arrows out, and if you're getting close with it, you can hit multiple of them on the same enemy and do a lot of bleed damage with that. And then once again, critical hits have a chance of causing bleeds, but for this here, I'm not really worrying about the aquatic weapons and things like that. So now I'll go back and pick all the abilities and healing choices up after I've done all the traits. So I'll just bring it down here so we can see discipline as well and everything, all the choices here. So now, for all the build, I'm going to go arms. You want to get the first one here, precise strikes, 33 chance to cause bleeding on critical hits, which, like I said before, is a very good mechanic in this. In here for the first choosable ability, I choose this one here, gain 40 precision for each unused signet you have equipped. So that way I can then go through and pick up a few signets up here in the abilities, and each one will give me a plus 40 precision for each one that's unused. Then here, burst skills have a 10% increased crit chance, so your kill shot or your bleeding blade attack will have a higher crit chance when you do use it. And then the next choosable one here is, where are you? Rifle and harpoon gun shots pierce, and rifle and harpoon gun skills recharge faster. So that way all of the rifle abilities and everything will be available much more often with that crack shot. And piercing in this game is fantastic. All your shots will basically travel through all the enemies straight through. So if you're being chased by a big group of enemies, you can run back and kite, and all of your shots will actually pierce through and have crit chance and everything on all the enemies that they hit. So very, very effective. Then here, attack of opportunity, increased damage to bleeding foes. Obviously we're focusing a lot on bleeding, so we're going to have an increased damage across for that. Now I don't go and get the 30 level point on arms. I have other things that are more important to get the points onto. So the next one here, in this build as well, I don't go into strength at all. Like if you were trying to focus a lot more on just a DPS thing, you would want to go strength and arms. But in this one here, I'm focusing a lot more on tactics and having a bit of defense ability and everything too. So under the defense tree, thick skin, extra armor when your health is above 90, always good. The first choosable ability that I've been liking out of, there's a few things in here that are okay, but this one here, the gain plus 200 toughness when crippled, chilled, stunned, or immobilized. It's very good for, especially when you're running around soloing things, or if you're the last one standing in your group and something stuns you. A lot of the time when you get stunned or immobilized or chilled, that's when you get killed. So you can't run around and get it out of the line of fire. Last one in defense here is I pick up adrenal health. This will make you regenerate health based on your adrenaline level. So a lot of the time I won't use my kill shot or my blade attack unless I see a really good opportunity. So for most of the time I'm running around with a lot of adrenaline, and I'm using that as a way to heal faster, just passively. Next thing here is tactics. 5 extra toughness per level while reviving. Now this tactics is really the main thing, and you'll see a lot of it is based on you're the last one alive in the group, and you can run around and you can revive all your teammates and everything. Now for your first choosable option here, there's a couple of choices in this one as well. Basically these two here are the main ones I'll go for in this first section. Empower allies, give more power to nearby allies, which is good. It's like a 5% increase in damage for all your allies Nearby is usually quite close. Unfortunately, they could have made it a bigger area. The other option is to have increased damage for every boon on you, and so like, I'll probably mainly focusing on a support sort of warrior thing. I'm going to go with the power for nearby allies. Then fast healer, increase revive speed. Then in here as well, we want to pick up shouts recharge 20% faster. Grant might to nearby allies when you revive someone, reviver's might. And then for the final ability here, shouts heal. So you can sort of see from the traits here and everything that we're picking up, we're focusing a lot on bleeding, bleeding damage, ranged damage and attacking, high precision, a bit of extra toughness, and then all the way through here to pick up the healing shouts. Another way that you can support the group. So first things first, the heal skill up here, I'm going to go healing signet to get another actual signet ability, which will work with this here deep strike. Plus 40 precision for each unused signet, so that'll be just regenerating health for me over time passively, along with the adrenal health, which will be regenerating even more health. So those two together keep me up and going. Then we've got utility skills. The first thing I usually go for here is the where are you? Shake It Off. Shake It Off being cure a condition on yourself and allies. As you can see there, the cooldown on it is now 20 instead of 25, thanks to the lung capacity thing we picked up. Then after that, I'll usually take the For Great Justice. Grant Fury and Might to yourself and others, increase crit chance, increase condition damage, increase power. So you and all your teammates will all have more damage output, have conditions being cured on them whenever you cast Shake It Off, and then at the same time both of these abilities, whenever you use them, will actually heal the people around you. Number 9, I get Signet of Fury just to boost that precision, and then if you click it you can gain adrenaline to get your adrenaline back up and get your adrenal health going, or use off a powerful finish ability. And then for the elite skill I get Signet of Rage, which grants adrenaline, so that way it's another adrenaline renewal. And then if I click it, Might, Fury and movement speed increase for me, so that's another good one to get out of trouble. You can hit on the Signet of Rage as well to finish off the fight and get everyone back up and going in the group. And so yeah, you can see that's the build as it is for me. Using rifle as the main, sword and axe, or sword and sword, or sword and shield. Take your pick out of the secondary weapon. They're all just having that crit chance of having a chance to cause bleeding. Will still be good for that. So very very good one. I like the axe for the fact that it gives when you have it up with the Fury, you get an increased crit chance. It means you get more bleeding attacks off as well from crits. So yeah, try it out. Let me know how you went, and Bonehead out.